Yeah, what is it? It's Friday, December sometime. Maybe the 14th, maybe the 16th, maybe the 16th. Could be the 16th of December in 2022, and I'm still on, big surprise for everybody, still on the Volkswagen Westfalia. Things went along reasonably well this week. Let me see, I'll turn this around and I'll show you what I did. There we go. So, finished. The doors are off, and you knew that from last week, but I did finished fixing them both up, and that's you'll see that if you stick around. Then I went and I tackled this bit here, which is like the running board here and the underneath of it and everything like that. There was just a little, like, this part here is bad, and then a few spots along here, plus this rail here, and this rail here is it holds like the whatever you call that, the rubber, the door seal goes in there, and it was rusted off down here, so it's new. Then I tackled this business around here, which is quite a few layers in here of this, and making these pieces here to be the same as the original equipment, which here's the original one there, right? Kind of a bumpity bump, and this one here, same idea, bumpity bump. So I was able to build that, and that's all in here if you stick around. And then just about ready to finish off this side here. Still need to fix this bit up here. That's for next week, I guess. And then it's starting to look pretty skinny about welding here, like the underneath behind there, I've been talking about for quite a while, needs welding. On the floor inside there needs a bit of welding. Window on the other side, and a tiny bit of welding on one of these rear struts, or whatever they call those things, the trailing arms. One of those trailing arms needs a tiny bit of welding, just one spot, and otherwise it's all good. Anyhow, but that's it for this week, and I hope you stick around and enjoy it all, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. If you hang around to the end, there's a little bit of a snowstorm, and didn't mount up to much, but I had to go out with the snowblower and get some stuff done. I didn't really film too much of it, and I'll walk to the beach, of course. Okay, see ya. Have a good week. Yeah, here it is. Start a new week. A little bit late today. It's Saturday afternoon, 2:30 already. And out on the Volkswagen van, there's another big surprise. So wait till I turn this around, right? Now last week I did get this front end all fixed up, and the window frame fixed up here. That front end there fixed up. Still need some grinding down there. I haven't figured out how to do it yet. Then the next thing I did was that little tiny bit right there. And now I took the doors off, one door, two doors. So today is on about the doors. I've got the inside kind of looked after. A little bit more to do right there. I'll just put a piece of metal right in there and make that look finished. What am I pointing, eh? Put a piece of metal right in there and make that look finished. And there's a pin, or the hole here that I gotta fix up. Maybe a hole right there. And otherwise it looks, looks like it does on the other door. I'll be surprised. I am surprised. Now, I have to flip it over and do the outside shell, or the skin, and clean that up so it looks good. And then that door should be back to servicing. Yeah, that's welded up in there now, and feels pretty smooth. You can still see the weld along there, but I'll have a bit of body putty on that to cover it, because it's got to come up even with this old stuff here. But I have to take off that rubber stuff, whatever, the stone guard stuff. I'll get that off of there eventually. Yeah, so that's the passenger door done. That wasn't all that tough. Well, we'll see later if it still fits. Yeah, so here I am. Buster and I. So in here, wait till I get a light. Hang on. Here I am out in the shop with the helper. Anyway, the window regulator on this is the passenger door. The window regulator works fine. You see that little plastic white thing right there? It's just glued in, and it's a guide to keep the window out at the right distance so it doesn't fall out of this rail here. And it's got these little white tabs here that go in there, and then there's a regulator part in there that kind of goes back and forth a bit. But anyhow, that piece there, I had it in my hand the other day for the other door. It had fallen out, so of course the window isn't working right. So I found some plastic like that, but it's not heavy enough, not strong enough foam. So, but I had that piece in my hand here the other day, and I put it somewhere safe. And just don't you hate it when you put something somewhere safe? And it sure is going to stay safe forever wherever it is. Don't know where I put it, but I will have to look for it and find it. I looked for it in the other shop. I didn't put it out there with that stuff. I remember putting it right over here. But then I must have moved it because I don't remember where it is now. Anyway, I'll find it and we'll get it into the right spot there. Yeah, don't you just hate it when you put something somewhere safe and never see it again? But here, I found it. Yay. This piece here, it goes in right in here like this, and you glue it. I'll glue it in there again. Came unglued. Huh. That's like me, right? Anyhow, I'll glue it in there again, and it's a guide for the window. Keep the window from, coming off the rails, which it is regularly doing. Then there's one other piece missing that I'll have to make a new piece for, and I figure I can do that somehow or other. And out of this little piece of plastic right here, because it's just a little piece of plastic that's missing. So I have little pieces of plastic that might make the little jigger that I need. And so I'll glue this in, let it seal in there, then see if I can get the other pieces in there to hold right. Yeah. So but the good news is that I've cleaned off the table here. Oh, there, a little bit light. Cleaned off most of the table here to all the stuff that was on it, and I can see the bottom of the table again. Hey, well, there you go. Yeah, anyway, I found that piece of plastic that I talked about a few minutes ago, but then there's this piece here, which hooks onto the window regulator like that. Goes up and down, and this goes on the rail to keep things straight. That part there I found that in the bottom of the door, and this part here was missing, so I made one that's pretty close to being the same. Then I'll see if I can get that hook on there and work right. Yeah, there now, the window seems to be going up and down now. And that piece that I made is right here. The piece that keeps coming out is right here. I think that as long as I don't expect too much out of it, that little piece in there needs some help. That right there. I'll just check it out. Yeah, so I guess I'll be happy with it for now, and I'll do some reading about it and see if I can figure out anything else. There's an adjustment here that I've got pushed all the way in that way now. I think it was out, and that was why it was coming off the rails. It loosened off. Anyhow, we'll just see. Next is now to see if I can fix this bottom of the door here. Anyway, I'll get down there and we'll take a look at it. Yeah, there's one door there that's fixed, ready to go to the other shop maybe. This door here, I have to clean this stuff all off here and just see what's underneath there. It's not bad. Like I'll just likely just trim a little piece off the bottom and put a new piece in and then fix the other side up somehow. First off, of course, is to clean that all that rubber stuff off, whatever they call that, rock guard. Yeah, now here I am at the, see, everything there is, it's good. There's a spot, wait a minute, right here where it's just about rusted through, I guess, but mostly it's good. Mostly it's just this bottom of the door that's rusted off. So what I'll do is I'll just cut it up here and cut across that seam and cut it back down there and just put that little piece in right there. Then when that's done, I'll see what I have to do on the inside, because the inside is actually, like, most of it's just air gaps that let the water come out. Okay, well, I'll see what I can do. Yeah, so I was so happy about this for moments, that it's actually in pretty decent shape and easy fix. But then I saw this here, so I figured, why do I go and investigate stuff? But there's some pretty deep body filler here. I'm gonna see, and there's looks like one of these body lines that those guys cut out of there. I'm not really sure. That's likely why the window doesn't work right. It was whacked. So I'll cut this out and see what's in here. Yeah, so there it is. Can you see that? Yeah. So somehow they cut out a piece here and put a patch in from underneath and then filled it all with Bondo. And that created this, like it's warped in there, and oil canning, it goes like an oil can. So I'll see if I can cut that out, see if I can get this to come back to right, and then likely ruin it again when I weld the piece in. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so that's likely why the window's coming off the rail all the time, is because this thing here is on nothing. That's one of the sprays is there, and that's the window right there. Oh, I'll have to fix that if I can. Not really 100% sure how that connects on here. Looks like it's just, oh yeah, so it just comes over the edge, because this doesn't sit flush to it. I see. Okay, so I'll make a new piece there and see if I can get the that should stop. That should, like, if I pull out on that, it's going to make this stopping from doing the old oil can business and flatten it out. Here's what they did. Like same old thing as likely 20 years ago that they did this, and they just fixed it up cosmetically. They didn't fix it up here. And they knew that was there because they cut this all out to get around it. Oh well. I'll see what I can do about getting a new piece onto that. I'll work on it. Okay. There we go. Interesting. It's always, happiness here, unhappiness here. Oh well, we'll get it fixed. Now I'll have to make a piece modeled after this thing here, if I can. I imagine it'll be alright. I'll figure it out. Yeah, so there's the basic shape, right? And close to the right size, anyhow. Now it's got this bead down the middle here, so I'll just run the bead roller down the center of it and see what, well, here, pointing the right way. So I'll run that bead roller down the center of it and see what I can come up with here. Yeah, there, now I built this piece here, and near as I can tell, it just floats in here, like it goes down and floats in there against that edge. I don't know if that'll rattle or what, but it sort of fits in just like that there, that there. Now I've got a post in behind there just holding that up. In the meantime, hopefully I'll get my hand in there somewhere or get something in there to pull that out of there. Oh, who knows? It'll come out from somewhere, I imagine. So I'll get this started welding in here. Like that right there. That right there. And then I think that's about right. And then it takes some rubber tape, double-sided tape on this thing here to go against that. So I'll do that. Yeah, now I'll cut out a piece the same size as this, eh? About that big. A little bit bigger than that maybe. And then I'll put this flange on. I'll weld, like I won't try to do shrinker and stretcher stuff because it's too much. So I've built this little piece. I just bent this little piece so it'll fit on there. And then I'll fit this piece to it with it too long here, then weld that onto it, the bottom, just give it a couple of tacks, and then I can cut it out on the bench and get it to fit right. Anyhow, but I think that's likely for tomorrow because that's in there now. Now I'll paint this. I forgot to paint the other side, but I think I can get in from behind there to paint it. And then I'll that's good and solid there, and that's going to hold the door together much better now. And maybe the window won't fall out. Hey, all those little things, interconnectedness of everything when you get stuff like this. So I guess there was a rust hole there that they fixed. It wasn't a dent or anything. So that's nice. Now I should check this door. I don't think this door has any problems down there, but I'll check it before I put it away. So I'll get this fixed up and proper, and that's really nice and solid there. I'm quite happy with that little build. Piece of foam tape on here away from where I'm going to weld it, and that'll be so it won't melt everything. So first thing, I'll just paint it right now before anything, and then I'll just put rust paint on it there, and that'll make it so that it's safe now. Yeah, okay, here I am back at it for another day. That's dried up overnight. Boy, that feels nice and smooth. And anyway, so I'll cut a piece. See, there's the old work that was in there. That was interesting how they did things, but I guess that's how it's done. So I'll put a piece of that tape along here, so I don't forget to. Sponge tape. And I'll keep it away from where it's going to be welded because that'll just melt anyway, right? Then I'll cut a piece out about this big, a little bit bigger than this. Then get this piece here welded onto it for the, can you see that? Yeah. That piece there welded on for the edge. Then I'll trim it down later to be the right size. And that should all come together, we hope. So first off, find a piece of metal about that big. That's amazing how they, like it just, oh well, I guess 20 years ago, that's what they did. Anyhow, we'll find a piece of metal about that big, which might be this piece of metal right here. Yep, it'll work. I'll cut that out to approximate size. And then we'll see if we can get it fit in there. Yeah, now I don't know if that's good luck or good management, but it fits pretty good for the first try. A little bit of a corner down here, I'll fill it in later, I guess. Now, this thing here, straight edge, right? Pretty good crown on that way. This way, a little bit, tiny bit of a crown, but I don't think I'm gonna be too worried about a crown going that way, right? More going up and down. So I'll get the English wheel out, which, hey, in the fullness of time, here it is, set to go. So you want to see me English wheel this thing? See what we can make for a crown. There, we'll try it about there and see what happens. So here's a piece, right? So the crown wants to go that way. So I have to go like that, right? Wind it up. This is just a wheel from, what do you call it, from Princess's Auto. And it was called a mini wheel. It just fits in the vise pretty nice. And it doesn't take much pressure on it. You know, you can get a reasonably good little crown. Reasonably good crown going without too much pressure on it. It's just back and forth, back and forth. Now, yeah, that's going for crown that way. Right? I'll give it a bit more pressure. A couple of turns. Now it's coming in pretty good now. Likely enough crown on it there. I don't know, can you see that little bit of hoop to it? I'll test it on the car and see what it looks like now. You never know. We'll go back here and see how it looks. There, that's actually pretty damn. That's very good. It's exactly the same as the crown on the car, and you can see it here. Now it also put a little bit of a crown into it going that way. It just does that, eh? But most of the crown was going the other way. Anyway, that's good. So I'll start welding that in. And that actually, like, it makes it, like I had it was fitting tight to these corners before, and now it's just a little bit loose, which is good by me. So first thing I'll do is I'll get this piece here welded on, underneath here, like that. And I'll just tack it on that corner for starters, and tack it on this corner here for that corner for starters. Then, after that, I'll take it to the bench and weld it on the bench. Then I'll paint the back of it and weld it in. See how we go. Yeah, that's pretty close. So I'll weld it along the inside here, then trim off the outside and see about filling that little hole before I put it in so I can grind that off. Anyhow, then I'll paint it because it seems to fit, you know, not badly. I can make that work. Okie dokie. Yeah, there, that's looking not too bad. Let me see. Let me pull it out of here. Too many things in my hands, right? So, that came out all right. Looks decent. Now, this little corner up here, you see this corner where I've not quite have it finished. So what I'll do there is just I've got a piece of steel that's much bigger than I need. I'll just weld it along that edge and then trim it fit. Yeah, there you go. That'll fit in there pretty good once I get it all sorted out okay. It'll look. Now, this should hold it from warping. I'll put a little bit of that tape on there before I forget now, and I'll paint the back of this before I forget that, and then we'll be good to go. Yeah, so that's ready to go here now. Just waiting for that paint to dry a bit. And while that's drying, I'll do a little bit of work here. Now this thing here, there's one tab right there that I can put a tab on that, and that would be a weld point for this thing to come onto. So I'll do that while I'm here. Don't know how yet, but I'll figure it out. Yeah, here we are. So there's these tabs at the bottom of the door, right? And that one was rusted off, but this part here is okay. That bit there is, I think, all right. That part there, I don't think that matters because I'm going to weld right here. Where am I? Yeah, right here. This one here. So I added a tab. I added some tab onto that, and I added some tab onto that. And then this piece here, just slide in here. It's that law. If I can get it, yeah, something like that. And then I'll fill in that little bit there with a little bit of extra rod or something. I'll figure that out. Yeah, so while I was waiting for the paint to dry, I just put this piece in here, and a little bit of warp right there, but I'll have to fill that in with some body filler because it's gone past what I can do about it here now. I can't get into it from anywhere to push it out, so maybe I can. There's a hole up here. Maybe I can get in and push it out a bit. We'll see. Anyhow, it's actually looking pretty good then. I'm not unhappy with it. Now this piece here that I've been waiting for the paint to dry, so I guess I'll get at that piece. Now the paint must be dry. We'll see. Yeah, here we are. So the paint is pretty dry. Dry enough so I can weld it in there. And that actually fits not too badly. I'll bring some more light in here closer, right? This little gap in there, I'll fill that in. And otherwise it looks like it'll gonna slide in there okay. Huh. I'll be. Isn't that something, eh? And this piece here looks like it's okay, but I have to drill holes for these tabs for whatever you call it, for what do you call that? Plug welds there. Okay. I did that down here also at the bottom of this one. Yeah, there now. That's not a bad fit in there. And ready for the plug welds there and those tabs that I built up. So now I'll just start on this side here and I'll get a good start right there in that corner, and then work around to this corner here and see if I can get that to fit in. Okay. Yeah, so now I've got the first few welds on there, and I'll just take it slow and easy getting around and see if I can get it to weld in without warping. Now I can go at it for another round right now because that's nice and cool. But I can see a little warp right here. I think that might be from the previous owner sort of business. There was a bit of a whoop in there. Anyhow, I'll just see what I can do. And it'll take some smoothing out with the body filler later, but not nearly as much as what was in there before. I had a good 1/4 inch of it in there, and now it's solid underneath there. Yeah, so there, that's in now. Now there is a warp right here. I'll have to see if I can get behind there with a hammer and a dolly and whack on it a bit. See what happens. See if I can get it to come out. I don't know if there's anything I can reach in there with or not, but I'll find out. And if I can, I will. Yeah, so there now. I tried to get behind there and push that dent out from behind, but it just wouldn't push. But at least I've got it so it doesn't oil can anymore. And what I did was, see these 3 holes here? That was a real dip in there. And there's a little bit of a dip there still, but I'm not going to try to get any more because I'm just liable to make it worse. So what I did was I took the propane torch, oh there it is, propane torch, and I put a self-tapping screw through there and just hooked this underneath it and pulled up and heated it while I was pulling up, and that's, you know, lets the metal stretch a bit, I guess, or reconfigures the metal. And then I cooled it off with a wet rag very quickly, and that seems to hold now. So it doesn't oil can anymore, and there's a bit of a high spot here, a bit of a low spot there, but it's not that deep anymore, and I can fix that with body filler. I don't want to go any more with heat and cool business because I'm just liable to make a real mess. Anyway, I'm going to call that done. I'll flip the door over and see what's on the other side here. I think I'm okay on the other side, but I'm not sure. Yeah, well, I guess I'll call those doors done. I got them hidden away there now. I turned over the other one and just did a bit of... There were a couple of little rust spots I cleaned off and welded up on the inside there. Now, next, which will be tomorrow, is going to be calisthenic day. I've been avoiding this like right in behind here. And I've shown you this before. Right in behind here. Down there. Oh yeah, there you can see it. Yep, see my fingers coming through there. Yep, there you are. That's that piece I have to get in from underneath there and clean it up, or put a piece in of metal, and then also I have to do the plug welds on the back side of this sheet here. Make that finished. So that'll be tomorrow. I think I'm on that tomorrow. I did a lot while I was waiting for stuff to cool today. I did some playing around with the heater up there. Now I got power going to the heater, and it seemed to be just nothing happened. So maybe I'll have to just take that apart and check out the heater motor and see if it actually motors. Anyway, but that's, oh, there's a mess of wiring up there, hey? Oh well, we'll get to that one of these days along the way. For now, I think that in Rustville, it's a couple of spots underneath those boxes, and then underneath this door and the back here. And then I think Rustville is over. Except if I take the roof off, I'm liable to find more up there. Not really prepared to take the roof off yet. I'm going to leave that on until sometime when it's warmer outside. Yeah, there. That's all for today anyhow. So I'll likely see you tomorrow, I hope. See what happens. Bye for now. Yeah, there's a bit of a storm brewing out here today. I don't know, you can see that snow coming down. It's kind of coming sideways. Sideways snow, yeah, into the wind. And it's supposed to be, maybe 20 centimeters of snow here tonight. We'll wait and see what happens. It started snowing a bit earlier than I thought. I didn't think it would start snowing until about 4 o'clock, and it's only 1 o'clock now. So, anyway, I'll just carry on working. I'll keep you updated on the storm. There'll likely be some tractoring involved and a little bit of snow blowing involved. We'll see what happens. But for today, I've got to go over and this zipper here comes up in the wind sometimes, depending on what way the wind blows. If I keep it down, then keep an eye on it, and it won't rip the door off, right? Anyway, today you can still see a little bit of sun right up there, but I'll go in here and carry on this thing here. Yeah, so I have to get dressed up for the weather. Yep, dressed up for the weather to come into here, make it to the back to the shop. Anyway, and yesterday, where was I? There, turn that around. Underneath there's a couple of the doors, front doors, passenger and driver side doors, and they're both fixed up. The window regulators are working on each one of them. I was able to fix the regulator on the driver's door. Then I found out why it came apart was because it had rusted out at the bottom. And then, so what else we got going on here? So I've got the front end of the car fixed, right? Now I have today to do either this thing underneath here or start on that. So maybe I'll just start on the running board underneath here and see if I can get that kind of looking better. Go at that for a while, and then once that's done and this is done, it's looking pretty skinny for welding on here, then I can go start tackling some of that. there's a mess of wiring up there, and I'm pretty sure not much of it works. So we'll see what happens on that. Yeah, so there, I cleaned up most of the dust off the floor. That's a half hour of vacuuming. Like it's 3 o'clock already. So now this part here, which likely you got that light in your eye there, eh? Yeah. Anyway, there, this bit along here, which is rocker panel, you can stick your fingers through it here. So I'll run the needle scaler along it and just see how bad it is along there. Back in that area right there, it's kind of ugly and rotten. And then I think that the previous guys put this rail on here. I'll see if I can get it off without wrecking it and maybe make another duplicate for it down here. And that's just for, all it does is have the weather stripping that runs in there. Here, I'll get that light out of your eye. Anyhow, that's what I'll do. And then in here, I know, yeah, you can see light through there. See that? Yep, light right through there. You're not supposed to be able to see light through there, so I'll have to just, what did I do? I think I'll just cut this off here. Same as I did on the other side. I'll cut this off and free it here. Then I'll reuse this part. I'll just put it back on because there's nothing wrong with that part. And then I'll cut this off and I'll also reuse this part and see what I can do about getting that part in the middle here fixed. Okay. First thing's needle skiller. Yeah, so now, where am I here? You see that I've got a light in one hand and the camera in the other hand. But right in here, there's a, hang on. Had to take a break for a sneeze there. Anyhow, there's a hole there. I think I can get that, just cut that little bit of bad stuff out, put new in there. That'll be all right. Now down here, underneath, I've cut out that piece right there. Now I measured that stuff, it's from the factory, it's 18 gauge. So I'll just put 18 gauge back into it and that'll be good. Now up here, I don't know if you can see like where my finger's pointing right here. I'll put the light back on it. A little bit rusted out there. I'll see if I can get this cleaned off and make new. This one here, I might have to just cut into it here and see what I can do about getting that fixed up there. Not really sure what that does. Oh, it's a flange that comes over from this part here. Oh, flanges. Anyhow, I'll get the needle scaler and I'll clean out in behind there. That bottom piece of frame looks to be fine. And the piece of frame in there at the back looks to be fine. So I'll cut this off a little bit right about here and underneath that channel and clean up this edge a bit. Then this part here will be good. I hope. We'll just see. Yeah, it's about 4 o'clock or 4:30 and it's starting to work up a bit of a blizzard out here. Up by the house it's getting real stormy. Kind of around the tractor. Oh dear, I guess I gotta clear snow tomorrow. Yeah, there we go, it's pretty near quitting time. Now this piece here, I kind of made it, and it's got a twist in it like that to be able to fit onto that there. Now, oh boy, that's going to take some trial and error before I get that fitted in the right spot, but I'll work on that tomorrow. Anyway, hope to see you then. Bye for now. Yeah, anyway, time to get back to work on the Volkswagen van here. The Vanagon 1982 Volkswagen van. Camper, Westfalia. Turn that around. So here's where I left off. Whoops, this thing here fell on the floor. Making a piece of metal that has a bit of a twist and a bend to it, so it'll fit in here. Like this. And then have a flange right there. And along here. So perhaps this piece here should go in first. Like here, it's got to go all the way along here with a flange out. So maybe I'll fit that in first, then I'll have a point to get the other one out to, right? That might be the right idea. That'll get it to the right spot. Yeah, better catch you up here. So I built this piece in here, and it's just like, it's not very big, it's only a little tiny piece, but the flange goes down to make it along like that flange there. Now, this other piece, where is it? Here it is. It'll meet up. Let me go underneath here and show you. Maybe not getting a light in your eye, maybe getting some light on the subject here. Okay, so here, this piece here, whoops, where am I? Must be doing something backwards here. Yeah, how did I do? Oh yeah, upside down. Smart like tractor. Okay, so that piece there just sort of fits in there along the flange. So what I'll do is I'll just tack it in at that edge over there, and then cut and butt it along this edge over here. So I'll get that held in with some clamps, and it's got a bit of a funny bend to it, the way that it fits in there. So anyhow, see what happens. Yeah, recording here. So anyhow, I put a tack here, and I put a tack there, and I put a little tack in here. You can't really, can you see that? Right up there, just to hold this edge right. Now, I'll cut and butt along here, then that edge should just fall in, and I won't cut that weld off until I get it sort of worked on up there. See what happens, see if I can get that to go together. Yeah, so there you go, that hurt. So when you're doing upside down welding, you got to put on welding gloves. These little cotton gloves are pretty good for doing welding when you're, we're looking down at it, but when the splatters are falling onto your fingers, that hurts. Yeah, so this piece of metal is what was up in behind there. Can you see that? Wait a minute. Yeah, up in behind there. So I had it welded on tight there, and then I undid it, so like I just cut the two welds that I had, so I'd get this piece of metal out of there so it wouldn't be rattling around and rusting in there later. And actually it's pretty good metal, so anyway, it goes right down there. So now I can go ahead and just start getting that welded up into place. Actually it fits all right. I'm happy. Yeah, so I got that welded in. I'm going to get the spot welder on this bit out here, this flange, but that's welded in. It's welded in solid, okay? But I'll grind that off a little bit to make it a bit better, but it's underneath, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, I'll put a piece in. That light's right in your eyes, because it's right in my eyes. There. So I'll put a piece in. I'm going to put a double piece in here, weld it from each side on the back of that, and then I'll use the spot welder and get it cut together right. And I might do the same thing right here, and right there, and right there. So I'll cut those little pieces out and then see what I have to do. Yeah, there's two of them done. So I welded it on the inside and on the outside. Oh, let me see. I get around here, get some light. Pretty ugly welds there, but solid. I'll get that cleaned up some. Then I'll likely trim them off. Oh, I got light right in your eye now, eh? I'll likely get them trimmed pretty close to the edge here, and then just put a wheel of weld along the bottom edge of it, and that will hold them together well. Duh. Yeah, so then the doggy's getting used to being around the shop and noises and stuff like that. He doesn't like loud noises. He doesn't like the loud tractor. He doesn't like cars, but he'll get used to it. Anyhow, in the shop for a little bit, I had to go and take some garbage out, and figured I might as well take the doggy for a walk. So I'll take him for a bit of a walk and then head her back. Yeah, so there it goes. So this is all welded up all the way along here, and those pieces are put in. I have to grind them off to be a level thing there. Level thing? Yeah, whatever you call that. Now they're welded on the back and they're welded on the front. I can show you the back maybe. See if I can get in here. The light's shining in my eyes. Yeah, there it is. Shining in my eyes. And no light underneath here, of course. Let me just get some light. So that's all welded up underneath, and then this piece here is in. This piece, I don't know, I can't point because here, this piece here is all in. And then these are the pieces that I put in for the flange that were rusted off. And they'll be all right. I'll just get them cleaned up tomorrow because today is done. I had enough today. Time to go have supper. I put supper in the oven. Well, I put supper in the oven before noon and put it on delayed cook, and then it'll turn on by itself at 4 o'clock, I hope. And hopefully it'll be done when I get there. Kind of a pork stew. Anyway, you don't need to know that, hey? So I'll get that done tomorrow, and then I'll do the, whatever you call it, that thing over there, the spot welder. I'll get the spot welder and spot weld all these things, clean them all up, and see how things work out. Then I have to finish up this area right here, which isn't that bad. I wonder what that hole there is for. It's right into the battery box, and it is open. I don't think it's a vent because the vent's on the other side. I'll look into that. Anyway, that's all for today. So I'll see you tomorrow, I hope. It's Wednesday today. Yeah, Wednesday. So tomorrow's Thursday. See you then. Yeah, here I am back at it. Thursday today. So I'll, what have I got to do here today? I'll show you. Maybe I will. Yeah, there. Here we go. Coming around. Yep. Takes a while to flip the camera around. Anyhow, this bit here, so there was a hole here that I filled up. I don't know if I ever told you about that. And then this bit underneath here, I've got into place, welded up. And it's all welded, all these bits along here, right? So I'll grind this stuff off, make it look better. Then this part here has to get, I think this wall here just comes to here, I think. It looked like this one here, the same idea, it just sort of came along there and stopped, and then it's allowed to drain through there, I think. Who knows? Who knows? There's the top panel there. I don't know that I can ever get into that to do anything about it except for let it be. But this bit here, there's lots of holes in this along the way here that allow the water to drain out. So, anyway, I'm babbling. I'll grind this stuff off. I'll finish off this edge here. Maybe not. I'll wait till I hook on this. But I have to make that channel here. There's a channel that goes along there to, that the rubber bits go in. Here's this bit here, which is actually in decent shape, this part here. It would go there, but it's kind of bent up. So I'll see if I can make a new channel to go right along there and put it on. We'll see what happens. So anyhow, that'll be the challenge for the day. See how it goes along here. Yeah, so here, I'll do a little bit of spot welding here. Maybe you'll enjoy it, maybe not. That's what's happening. I'll get underneath here. I'm not bashing my head too badly. So what I do is I clamp on a pair of pliers and then bring the spot welder out and weld it right next to it. Oh, it's heavy. up there is pretty tight, so I'm just going to weld it so you can see what's going on. As long as they're all touching with the metal, it's okay. There you go, that's hard work. Anyhow, spot weld, 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 spot weld. Spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld. 1, 2, 3, 4 there too. Can you see that? Am I looking at the right way? Yeah. 4 of them there. So that's all held together at the seam, the way it should be. And I'll carry on to next project, which I think is making this trough, right? Yeah, I'll make that trough. I'll try to. Yeah, there. Now I made this piece and took an awful lot of work to make that little piece. See how it's got a U shape to it? And that's a reasonable facsimile of this piece here. Now what happens is this one here has got, I don't know if you can see this, there's a little bit of a lip here, and that holds, that goes on the top side, yes? Yeah, that holds the, that holds the rubber, the door rubber in. It makes it a pressure grip there. So what I'm going to do is, well, I'll put this on, I'll see if I can get to figure out what side I want for the top. I'll try to make a little bend in it, like just crimp it down in a few places so that'll be like when I put in the rubber, then I'll crimp it together so that it's tighter in a few places. And that might hold it, plus glue the rubber to the back. Anyway, I'll show you how I made that, because I have to make another piece. This one here, where am I here? Sorry, all over the place. This one here goes right on about there. Can you see that? Yeah, right along there from about that height there. And hopefully it's not going to interfere with the door. I don't think it will, because it's the same height the other one was. But now, see here, there was a little bit of a rust hole here. So I drilled that out with my trusty drill, like this kind of a drill here, that kind of drill, like a step drill. I drilled it out to the third chunk. Then I'll make, I promised you a long time ago that I'd show you how I made those, a plug for that. And here's the little tool, a plug tool, my plug tool. There it is right there. Like it's, I've shown this before a long time ago, but haven't seen it around for a while. It's just 2 pieces of 1/4-inch steel, like there's, or 1/2-inch steel. There's the steel I made it from right there. And I use that for, I'll show you, I've been using that for straightening out my trough, but I'll show you that after. Anyhow, this thing here, now wait till I get my tripod and I'll set it up, and I'll show you how to make see how it's made those little holes in here. I'll show you this. Yeah, there, now, that's not too bad for a setup. So here's this tool that I was talking about, right? I've got to get that one piece out of there. Generally this will do it. So, there's, like that metal there is pretty well used up. So it's got, can you see through there? That's got a hole drilled in just the size of this. And this is an old drill bit that was dull. And I took it off and faced it on the lathe over there. You don't really have to do that, but I cleaned it up pretty good and made it so that it fits the same size hole, right? The drill bit that cut this is the same as this drill bit. And so it's a real tight fit. Then this thing here, there's these two pieces of metal, and I've got them welded together at this one side, and they're just the width of two. This is 18 gauge, and they're the width of two 18 gauge, or actually two 20 gauge pieces. I put a couple of pieces of metal in there and then clamped it and then welded it afterwards. So then you got to have a piece of, like any old piece of scrap steel, you put it in. Now I need two of these plugs, so you put it in, and heavy hammers are better. So there's a perfect little plug. Plug number one. I need another one, so I'll just get this thing out. Move it over to a new piece on the steel, fairly close to the other one, because you don't want to, this will be my plug steel for a while. There, plug number two. Anyway, that's how you make the plugs. And it works very, very well. So now I'll go and I'll show you how to weld these in. Yeah, there now. Now, here's this, I don't know if you can see that very well, but here's my little plug thing, right there. That's, I've just got a bolt with a magnet on the end of it here. And then put it flat on there. Hold the magnet. Whoops, that's a tight magnet. That's a tough magnet. Right like that. And then that's in there now, so now I just have to weld it into place. Hang on, I'll get the welder going. Oh yeah, here I go. If I can get in here. So I'm just going to put a tack on it right here, and then I'll pull the magnet away. Pop the little magnet. So that's tacked right there. Now I can take a hammer and just give it a little tap on it, or fix something and give it a tap. What have I got? Nothing. Hang on, I've got to get a hammer. Yeah, the most prepared craftsman you ever saw here. Craftsman. Ready for everything all the time. Not like me. So just give it a bit of a tap. And then that sits flush. And it's tight to the hole. Now I'm going to go and just tack it around a couple of spots. So that it's welded 3/4 way around here. There we go. Then you see that I've got to re-drill that so that it will fit the other one in there. I hope. Yeah. So there I just re-drilled that a little bit so that the other plug, which is right here, we can get that in there. These little magnets are tough. So there I'm set to go with the second one. Right about there. So I need to just give it a bit of a tap with the hammer. I guess I did need that run there. Anyway. There. So that's tapped in there. Now I can put a weld on that. Put the weld. Aye, aye, aye. There we go. Now this comes from Carl at Make It Custom. If you watch Make It Custom on the YouTube, you'll see Carl has an episode about this, and his shop teacher taught him that years ago. That works pretty cool. Now, I just weld them around. That's how you do that. I'll pull the camera here and show you a close-up. Oh, it's pretty close anyhow, right? Where am I? Oh, something's not working for me, but here. You can see that, eh? There's nice and flush. Now that new piece of machine will go on there, and that'll be good. Yeah, so the next piece of trough I need is only this long. It's a little bit easier to work with. That first one was kind of a test to see if the concept would work. So there's that and that, and it seemed to be about the same. Pretty close anyhow. So now that piece there is going to be wider than what I need. So I'll just go and this so happens to be the right size. So it's got to be bent right about there, along that line there. And I'll just make a line there and show you. Yeah, so right there, I just put that into the bending machine. I'll show you. Oh, I'll get my jacket out of the way. Right about there is the right spot. Then we'll just bend that up to 90 degrees, right? It's easier than the other one was because the other one was pretty tough. So that's that part done. So you got the first bend in, right? Like that. Now the next bend is going to be the same distance, but I have to get my piece of metal. Yeah, there now. That's recording. So. Okay, here we are. This is my piece of square metal that actually is the right size. So I want to just get it so that it's tight to that metal. Pull it out of the way. Then do my next bend. So that's as far as it'll get, but now I'll go over on the vise and we'll do some work over there to make it fit right. Hang on. Yeah, here now. So, well, here I am. So this is, see how that's loose on there? So you just stick it in the vise. Get your glove out of it. And tighten it to my mold. Yeah, there, now I ran it through that once more and it's pretty good, see, but it's a little bit tall still. So what I'm going to do is just put this in here. Then I'll run the grinder on that. There, that's about right. Anyway, that's how that's done. Yeah, there, that's made. A little bit of grinding to do right there. Oh dear, I'll fix that. Anyhow, that, so I welded the two pieces together right there. So that it's one continuous rod. Now I'll see if I can get it installed into the car. Now, what they had, the original, I think, was spot welded in here. And I don't really want to do that because it'll be difficult, number one, difficult to grind it. So I'm just going to put tacks along the bottom every little bit and then put a tack on the top and then see how that works out. Yeah, there it is, the channel. Got a lot of work for a little channel like that. There's the joint in it right there. End to end. Now, it's solid in there now. I'll give it a couple more. I'm going to grind off the top welds here and then give it a couple of welds on the bottom. Put it back up and put some welds in the bottom. Now, then I'll tackle this bit here, I think. See what I can come up with. Yeah, so now I'll try and make a new one of these, right? This goes on right here and goes down and meets this stuff down here somewhere or other. Can't really look at the other side because the other side I made up anyhow. But I made that one curved piece here that fits in that channel right there. Hey? Can you see that? Yeah. I got it clamped on. Now I've made this other curved piece which goes, it's the next piece that goes right in. Can you see that? Yeah, it goes right in here. And it'll come up against the bottom of the channel like that. So now if I weld, while that's clamped, I'll just weld this other piece onto it. And a little bit too close, eh? Weld this other piece onto it and then I'll finish it off on the bench and grind off the edges. Remember I did that one other time way over on the other side of 100 years ago when I was working on that other side. Maybe in episode like 5, eh? But who knows? So, or episode like 10. Anyhow, I'll work on that tomorrow because, hey, it's, that button. Yeah, there. Oh, here I am. Yeah, so it's episode, well, I don't know what episode we're on now, but it's Thursday. So tomorrow I'll get a movie out for you after Friday. And time done for the day. Dark outside. Yeah, dark. Gets dark pretty early, but the shortest day of the year is coming up pretty soon now, and we won't have to, we'll just go into bigger days. Yay. Okay, see you tomorrow sometime. Yeah, before I carry on too much farther, I'll fix this hole here. I was thinking about cutting it up higher along here, but I don't think I have to. I think I can get in here and cut that bit out, put a new piece of metal in and just weld it on there, and that'll be good. That'll be just fine. Now, another way to take off that pesky stuff on there, that plastic, whatever they call that stuff, it's not even plastic, it's rubber stuff from the factory, is this this thing here. That'll take it off real quick, I found out. Yeah, it's pretty noisy in here, but here, now I went and there's this hole in here. It was only small, so I cut out some more of the metal from here And now I'll just fix that hole, number one, then I'll build a new piece to go in here and figure it out. See what happens. Yeah, here we are. So anyhow, that hole there is filled. Now down here it also has a piece of metal that comes down to here. But what I'll do now is I'll make this piece here, and then I'll see how that integrates into that part. Then I'll fix up this part out here. I saved this piece coming down there, so that, because there's nothing wrong with that. Where is it? Over here somewhere. Oh here. Put it somewhere very special. I guess I have to find that special spot. Yeah, so here it is, this very special piece. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's all in good shape. So I can just, when I'm done, that'll be the last piece that goes back on, and we'll go right back in there with this. All those bends are right. This stuff here is all pretty flat, except for down at the bottom here. So I'll build this one here first. I got started here last night, if you remember. That piece and that piece go together. Oh, how do they go? Like this. So I'll just put a tack on them, then make them up on the bench. Then this piece of flatness goes in, and I'll make that go on there somehow or other. We'll see. Yeah, so there now I put a tack there and I put a tack in there just to hold it while and I'll release it from here. Oh, there it goes. And here's what it's going to look like on the inside, but I'll get that all welded up on the inside, and I'll grind off the outside so it looks, can you see that? So it looks right. Now, that's this way up, right? And then the next piece goes on is this piece here, and it's got a bend and a whoop in it. So I think I can get that incorporated with this part over here all at the same time. So we'll just see what I can come up with there. Yeah, so that's after, I welded it on the back there pretty thick, but then grinded off the extra stuff on the front, and it looks like it's about right. Sort of looks like, where's my piece at? Let me find it. Yeah, so it sort of fits on there all right. See how that is? That's that, like that. But there's this bump in here that comes down. That doesn't matter to this, because I'll just cut it out of that part, because the metal, I'll make this piece of metal here now to come down, and I have to figure out how to do this side here. I might put I guess I could put a flange in it, do the bend on it, and that would make it easier to, because it's not really bent until it hits here and it goes up and down. Let me see. I think I'll have to do a bend on the metal brake for that. I'll check it out. Yeah, so there, can you see that? That's bent on the metal brake, right? And it actually comes pretty darn close to that. So then it's got to come out to here and then bend down. So I'll do that. I'll put that next bend in the right spot. Yeah, there, that piece is starting to look like it's supposed to be there. There it is there. Ugly on the inside, but that's okay. Looks okay on the outside. Now I'll cut it off on that black line down here. Where am I? Down here by my thumb. I'll cut that off. That's the bottom. And then that across there cuts off. Same place. Then I'll try to, this line at the top, you see a little nick at the top there, that's where it goes to meet on the edge there. So, next chore is to make the next edge to go in here, which isn't as tough as that side over here, because it's a flange up against the piece that comes down. So I'll just get at that and start cutting and pasting. Yeah, there, now I made a flange on here, and it'll all fit together pretty nice once I get it in there. I'm quite happy with that. Amazing what you can do with a little bit of metal bender and bit of welding. So now, next piece is getting this piece here sorted out. I'll think about that for a bit. Yeah, there, that's in. And it actually looks pretty good. A little bit of body putty here to fix that up. I haven't welded in here yet, or down here. I'll get that later. First off, I want to get, there's got to be a little piece that goes from here. Can you see this? Where am I pointing? Yeah, from here across to here, and sort of fill in all this, because I think it just goes to here, fills that in, and then the other piece goes on. So I'll see what I can do about getting that done. Yeah, some of the little tools that you don't hardly ever use. This thing here, I wanted to have this proper gap in here that was like the gap that the saw left there, or the blade left there. I want to have that gap, and then this little tool here puts there's a block behind that holds it on tight, and then this thing here that holds it on here, and there's that metal in between. That gives you the kind of the gap there. So then I'll just tack this in a couple of spots, and that's in the right spot already. I can, well, where's my goddamn thing? There it is. This thing, the square goes in there, and it's amazing. I don't know if it's good management or good luck, but it's mostly good luck. Anyway, it seems to be coming together okay. This piece here is the original piece that I cut off, and I didn't ruin it in any way because it's in good shape. Whoops, where am I pointing? Yeah, this piece here is the original piece I cut off. So I didn't want to ruin it because it's in good shape. So I can put it back on there. I'll just tack it on, then I'll make a piece to fit in here. And that piece there, if I have to take it off again, I will, to get, the other piece fitted in. So anyway, there we go. I'll just tack it here once, and then I'll loosen this off, take it off, and tack it again. Yeah, so that's got that little bit of a gap in there now, and the length is right. So anyway, but that's all for today, and it's Friday afternoon, so that's all for this week. I'll go out and I'll start making a movie. Well, I'll make a movie and get that along to you. So what happened this week? I got, excuse me, this part here all fixed up. Well, fixed up fairly close. Still have to do that little bit right there, eh? Keep on, same on the other side, there's a piece like that. But then the front doors, I finished off the front doors, right? They're right here behind this blanket. And it's starting to look pretty skinny about what needs welding on it anymore. Still have to fix this bit in behind here and do the plug welds there. And the floor over there. And I think, and a couple little bits like this, and the same on the other side. And then that's pretty near it for welding. Well, yay. So next week I might finish welding. You never know. Depends on what else I find. This actually, I was quite pleased with this part here. It turned out nicely. So anyway, that's it for the week, and I'll see you next week. Yeah, so here we are in the mail today, coming to me, and from the parts department in Eganville, Ontario, is a very important parcel. Now, wrapped up in true red-green fashion, using duct tape to hold it together, and a used envelope that was somebody else's present, right? Anyhow, inside is very important car parts. Now, this goes back about 40 years or 50 years, I don't know how long ago, 1970s, in the 70s. And driving along the road in northern Alberta, Jasper National Park, along the Maligne Canyon Highway. In the winter, no traffic anywhere. And I had a 1963 Mercedes-Benz 220S. Don't you know, the fan belt came flying off. And my friend Carolyn was with us. And we drove for a little while, and the motor starts to overheat, so need to have something to run the fan. Didn't have anything in the car to be able to do it, So I asked Carolyn, do you have a pair of pantyhose on? And she looked at me with one of those looks like, what do you want, pal? And so here it is. She donated the pantyhose. I was able to tie them around from the bottom of the motor, the big pulley at the bottom of the motor, to the fan pulley that runs the water pump. And that got us back into town and no charging of the electrical system, of course. But if you're ever stuck out in a dark country road with an older car, there you go. It works. Thank you very much, loyal fans. And if you don't know about red green, just look on YouTube and look up red green. I will put these in the glove box of the 1968 Mercedes-Benz that's out there. In an emergency, it'll work well.